Welcome to my review of the stock market, my view of what is going on here. I've got Steel Dynamics up here because I was just looking at, yeah, this is one of my favorite stocks right now, but I'm going to go back to the Nasdaq and start off there. The Nasdaq was up 40 points today, or 0.17%. The volume is a little heavier than yesterday's, a volume, but still well below the 50-day average. It's nearly 20% below the average. So it's been light volume here during these holidays. You can see since this 62% rally, we had a 9% correction, and now we're just back in rally mode. You see the 21 has traded through the 50, and here's the 5. The Nasdaq finding support at the 5. So we're just in another uptrend here, but we have different dynamics in the market. I always say the market environment is everything. And during this run, there was a lot of like froth, a lot of junk stocks trending higher, a lot of AI names. And now, as I came into this week, I thought the AI names were set up. They had pulled back a little bit and they're ready to rip, but I was wrong. I was, as Fonzie would say, wrong. It's, I was dead wrong. The AI stocks are being sold. There's a rotation into a bunch of other groups. When you sell those big names like Microsoft and Meta, you don't need a whole lot of money to drive up some of the shippers and some of the steel names and some of the other stuff that I'm going to get to. The financials, it's just oil stocks. A lot of stuff is working. The AI stocks are not really working right now, though. But during this run, they bought so much of them, they probably have so much in their portfolio, they have to, reduce a little bit, to get back in compliance and buy some of these other names. Sometimes they sell stocks that they like, but they're just overloaded in. But anyway, I want to get to a couple of names this afternoon. You got the Nasdaq up 30, excuse me. The Nasdaq is up 40 points, 0.17%, and the close at 24, excuse me, 23,000. 454. Yesterday was closed at 414, right? So 40 points, 454. How about that? So a couple of nice days here. Monday was a down day, a little bit, and then yesterday we had that 137 point gain, and today 40 points higher. Anyway, the key point I'm trying to make here is, yeah, the Nasdaq's rolling, the index is going higher, but it's not really the Mag 7 that's driving it. There's a lot of other different stocks. And here you see the RSP. This is the equal weight S&P. So this is without, weighting those, Mag 7 names heavily. They're equal weighted. And so the other stocks are pulling the weight now. And those, Mag 7, which I'm going to get to in a minute, as soon as I get back to the NASDAQ. I get my thoughts straightened out here. Yeah, the Nasdaq closed 1.7% above the 21. I think that's six straight sessions above the 21, and then 2% above the 50. So we're back in this, uptrend, trending nicely. Yeah, looks good, but there's different stocks now that are, and you got to make the adjustment. I've been slow to make the adjustment because I was, stuck in those old names. But that's not what's working right now, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. I do want to point out, some of the Mag 7 stocks, there was, a lot of rumors out there, a lot of scuttlebutt, a lot of chatter that Microsoft, they're not getting their return on investment here with their AI play. And the IBM CEO came out yesterday or the day before and said the math is not mathing here. They're spending all this money and there's no way they're going to get the return on the investment. And the market's kind of telling us, excuse me, the chart is kind of telling us that they're selling this stock off. Yeah, it's still in a consolidation, but well off its highs. That was their earnings report here. It ramped up, 2% and then just immediately sold off. Also, Meta Platforms, we know they're spending a heck of a lot of money. They just poached another executive from Apple. Guy had been there since '99. They're spending a lot of money, and they got money to burn. I get it, but the point is the money that they're spending, they're not going to get back on their not the return on investment that was originally thought. That's all. One company that hasn't gone whole hog into AI is Apple, and they're doing well. This is more of a, consumer product stock. So, that they had one of the top selling Christmas, or excuse me, Black Friday items, and Apple's just doing fine, making new highs. So, out of those three, I guess have to say that Apple's in favor now, and same with Google. They announced Gemini, and they're spending a lot of money too, but their TPUs are, how shall I say this? Put it this way, there's cheaper ways to go about this AI and large language models than how they're doing it currently with NVIDIA. And I know NVIDIA is the king of AI and everything, but the chart here is telling us too that NVIDIA may not be, even though they had fantastic earnings, great growth, great guidance, but what is the market saying? I mean, this thing is under the 50. It was at 212, and now it's at 180. I mean, the market talks, so you got to listen, that don't try to argue with it. So anyway, Amazon is another one of these hyperscalers are spending a lot of money. They have their own chip now. So a nice sell-off in November. I mean, a lot of stocks sold off in November, undercut the 50 and rallied here, but these are really tough for me. Anyway, that's the Mag 6. I'm going to get to Tesla later because they had a different type of news. A couple of names that reported last night. CrowdStrike, and I knew this Wall Street darling was not going to be down for long. It sold off in the morning, and then buyers came in right away. It was up, 1.5%. Wall Street just loves CrowdStrike. And I kind of saw Palo Alto was doing this kind of the same thing. It was a little bit ahead of CrowdStrike. It didn't dip much, and then man, really got bought. So that was my cue for CrowdStrike today. Just watching Palo Alto, and then CrowdStrike followed. So yeah, I can't get excited about the earnings and sales growth, but like I say, Wall Street loves CrowdStrike. So I'll go back to CrowdStrike here. Decent chart setup, had this cup with handle, broke out, and of course we know November was weak. It came in 3 or 4 weeks, and now it rallied today, closed near the high of the session. That's a nice hammer candle, and we know earnings moves are just really wonky, but I like this above the 50, but I'm not going to buy CrowdStrike, and not at these rates. No, I can't do it. There's just other stuff I'd rather buy. I do think cybersecurity is essential. It's an essential tool going forward, but it's just really expensive. It's kind of like Palantir for me. It's like it's just a little too rich for me. Anyway, Okta. No, I'm not going to buy Okta either. This one's in a clear downtrend. And now this one, these were all down in the mornings. The ones I'm showing you here, yeah, the gap down at the open, and then buyers came in all day. And same with Box. These were all down at the open, but buyers came in right away here on these earnings reports. So that's a wonky move on Box. Closed 84% of the daily range, up 6.66%, had a devil of a day. All right. I've got to get to the one that really killed it was Pure Storage, and I really don't get the report warranting a 27%. The company lost 27% of its value on that report. Accelerated earnings, accelerated sales. Like I said, this is crazy move for that report. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they missed and guided way lower. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just time to sell these, right? They're just selling out of these stocks. Micron was down today, didn't get hit quite as bad. Western Digital, yeah, these things all got impacted a little bit from that report. Or maybe they're just unloading some of these names here now. The all the indications are that the memory is in huge demand, but there's not enough supply. So they have pricing power, but maybe Wall Street's thinking, if you don't have the supply, then it's going to be a problem, right? We don't want supply chain issues. We've been through that. All right. Enough of the negative stuff here. I've got to get to some a little more positive. I mentioned NVIDIA down, but there was some semiconductor names doing quite well. This is Um, Amcor, they had that 3822. I think I mentioned this Monday and Tuesday, but yeah, got that little Darvas box and took off. This isn't waiting for any handle or anything. It just wants higher prices. So congrats to the longs there. That's a nice move. And then SITM, a lot of people were giving me a hard time on Twitter today, but C time or whatever, sit time, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the heck the company's name. I'll just call it, it's making money for its shareholders. Got this classic undercut and rally move here, and it's not waiting around like some of the other names that I had on my ready list this week. This one is just powering higher. And then MRVL, they reported last night and then had a acquisition, Celestial AI acquisition. And when you see this type of move, power through the pivot there, that 98.13, that is something not to be ignored, even though it was only up 8%. Doesn't really qualify for a power earnings gap here, but 98.13 right through it today. And that's a nice little, what you would call a Darvis box, if you will. What's in the box? Not Marvell. Not Marvel Comics either. All right, I'm going to get to some stuff that I know people don't like, but I'm just showing you in my view of the market, and this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm observing. I haven't bought any of this stuff yet, but oil and gas, Sandridge Energy. I mean, this is a powerful move here, folks. And if we go to the weekly chart, you can see, yeah, these blue bars here. Yeah, big blue bars recently on this way up. So there's no denying that, that's not Aunt Sally buying this stock here. That one looks pretty good. Devon, now I get it why people don't like Devon. It's breaking out of this stage one base. It's a slower mover, but it's got, this stage four decline. So it's got all this, overhead supply that people bought at higher prices, right? Even if you go back to, the end of 2022. So all these people want to sell, when I get back to even, I'm going to sell. When I get back to even, I'm going to sell. When I get back to even, I'm going to sell. So that's the trick with buying stuff that's in a stage one base or breaking out of a stage one base into a stage two advanced phase. You have that overhead supply, and so that will give people cause for a pause. But I don't know. I'm just showing you this is making breaking out of a stage one base. Looks like it's going to a stage two ascending base. So I kind of like Devon. See, in X's is still in this big base here. Yeah, I kind of like this one. I didn't put it on the ready list. I don't know if I'm going to. It's kind of extended from its moving average, but maybe next week let it calm down a little bit. But this thing showing strength. That's CNX Resources, an exploration, oil and gas exploration stock. And another one is Rig. These guys are actually what they do is they have offshore drilling, right? And rig count is down, so it doesn't really make sense that this stock would be up, but you gotta, we just acknowledge these higher lows, right? And now it's making these higher highs, right? 381, 407, 439. 445 it closed at today. So just pointing it out, just an observation. Also, the copper and natural gas and silver are just really getting. I'm surprised how they're moving like parabolic moves here. This is Ivanhoe. Definitely, had this cup-shaped pattern, broke out, now forming another base. That one looks decent to me. Another copper play is Southern Copper. Still, undercut the 50, now trying to rally back through that old high, 143.59. I kind of like that one. WPM is a gold play. And just kind of in a base here, not, it's trading, near a moving average. Undercut the 50, rallied back. Wheaton Precious looks okay to me. Vale, because a lot of them are extended, and that was just like Vale here, making a new high today. So yeah, that one looks good too. So just acknowledging strength, folks. That's all. Steel Dynamics, this is what I opened with. Accidentally breaking out of this double bottom pattern, right? Now it was November, so in November we saw that, the market correct a little bit, and this thing corrected as well. What did I say, a 9% correction peak to trough from October 29th to what was it, the 21st. And so this one corrected as well, okay? Had this little box type pattern there at 164. I had this on my ready list last week. And I know some of you folks bought it because you contact me on Twitter saying, good call on Steel Dynamics, but I wasn't smart enough to buy it myself. I'm a dummy. But yeah, this is a part of the broadening out of the market from the AI names into oil and gas stocks, into the copper stocks, and into steel names like Steel Dynamics, which I like a lot. Maybe I'll buy it when it pulls back one day. Nucor, same thing, getting a little extended from that moving average, but already broke out of this cup. It only shows cup, but to me, that's a nice handle. That's going to shake most folks out, including me. 155 to 140, it's adios muchachos for this kid. But it never undercut the 50 and just keeps rallying, now supported at the five-day line, and it's a little 2.4% above the 5-day line. But yeah, definitely a nice looking chart there. MT, this is ArcelorMittal. This is Luxembourg. Just pulled back to the 5 today, so maybe it's going to give us a chance to get in, please. And then an aluminum name, Kaiser. Aluminum, man, just a nice breakout there from that 97 level. That's pretty clean. Yeah, what's in the box? Not Kaiser aluminum. Yeah, that is a thing of beauty right there. It's been consolidating for quite some time there from what, 97 to 71. Yeah, gosh, that's a thing of beauty right there. Big volume, that's called power through the pivot. Man, why didn't I buy that one? Can't kiss all the babies. All right. So that group, the Steel Dynamics, Nucor, yeah, the aluminum, very nice. Also in retail, I cannot forget all is right with the world. When I see, I listened to the conference call last night. And I came out of there just ready to run through a brick wall and buy this stock. It was very, very bullish. Their Black Friday sales were just, they sold out of their inventory, which is not a good thing. You should have enough inventory for people because they'll go elsewhere. But oh man, looking forward to 2026. They've got some new stuff coming out. Sydney Sweeney obviously is a great marketer for this company and definitely a huge breakout here. We've got to look at the weekly chart. Yeah, that's a thing of beauty. This week up 17.5%. I think it could do something like an Abercrombie and Fitch did, this big run here where it broke out of this cup and ran up, for it. It didn't look back. It was a Tom Petty stock. It just kept going and going and going. I was marveling at this name. Yeah, it went from what, $30 to 199 or whatever, 100, $200, call it. A little short of $200, but I think you'll take that. You get the idea. 30 to 200. Yes, thank you very much. I'll order one of those, please. Um, can AEO pull off the same thing? I think they can. I think they've got a lot of momentum. And just listening to the conference call, I suggest that you do that if you're interested in buying this stock. Once again, just power through the pivot with this one. Yeah, I like that a lot. And you can see, recently, since Sydney Sweeney's been involved, there's these big blue volume bars. So, and look at this, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks. This has just been, climbing higher. So, I'm very bullish on American Eagle. In retail, it's hit and miss, and I'm going to show you some of that later on. But it's always hit and miss in retail, not all of them going the same direction. Another name that I'm getting a lot of DMs about is Dutch Bros. Yeah, I mean, people want to say this is a cup with handle pattern, or I would say a double bottom, just from that 60-22. That this is, kind of a cup with handle if you want to go that way. And now moving higher, it's below the 200. I get it. But you see the 5 and the 21 have rallied through the 50. I know, a 19 RS rating. That's a little longer term though. I'm pretty bullish on Dutch Bros because I know the product. I've done my due diligence with this company. It's just Wall Street doesn't want to reward it yet, but keep it in your back pocket for 2026. It's underperformed this year, but maybe next year will be better. Capri, now they were trying to get bought out by Tapestry. That deal didn't go through. Dr. No shut it down last year. Um, Lena Khan and Tapestry has done very well since that. That here's your cup with handle breakout. Now it's forming a cup again. Geez Louise, I kind of like that right there. Maybe that belongs on my radar list. That looks nice. But where was I? Oh, yeah, Capri making new highs. Excuse me. I got to write that down. TPR. But this one had this move up higher and then flattened out for like a week, right? 4 or 5 sessions. Blasted higher today, 8%. The retail apparel is just, it's really hit and miss. And we've been through this recently with Kohl's pulling back to the five today and Gap making a big move, pulling back to the five today. That looks good as well. The dentist gapped higher, then pulled back. That's a gap and crap, but now it's starting to trend higher again. Just a lot of these names. I'm getting off track here because I didn't want to do this. I wanted to get to the drug names. Eli Lilly, man, I got a lot of people saying Eli Lilly sucks. It blows. It's pulling back every day. But look at the volume, folks. I mean, this thing was up with big volume, this big run here, and now it's selling off with lighter volume. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Yeah, look at this run here. Off the lows, made this I don't call it had a low of 623, then it revisited the following week there 625. From 625 it went over 1100. That's a big move. And now it's pulled back this week on minuscule volume here. um yeah, maybe it'll come back. What is it, 1033? Maybe it'll come back to that 1000 level. What's the 21 at? It looks like it's a little bit above 1,000, but I would watch this. I think it's going to bounce, and it's probably won't come down to 1,000. But yeah, I'm looking for this one to bounce maybe off the 21, which is 1,013 today. It's a rising 21, so maybe 1,015, something like that. But I wouldn't give up on this. Don't get negative because it's down 5 days in a row. It's just having some profit taking. And this is like with the AI stocks, they're up so much, they take profits and move into something else. But do not give up on Lilly. This is IMNM. They had a presentation today at Piper Sandler conference and said that they're going to have their readout by the end of the year on their cancer phase 3 cancer data. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to pop over 20. So the more it comes down, the better price it gives you. That the five today was 1841, so maybe to pull back again to that five, give you another chance before the end of the year. I think this one's going to be, there's been a lot of insider buying here, and since the breakout, this thing broke out October 7th. Right here, October 6th, yeah, 16% move, and it's just been, climbing higher. This is one of the ones that I put on for my power earnings gap video. This is the one of the winners. I have winners, losers, and those who are holding serve. This is definitely a winner, making a new high today. Who else do we have? Oh, Liquidia, another biotech name, making a new high today. Nice move here, breaking out of this cup with handle. Man, you can't ignore this stuff. Look at this big volume here. Those big blue volume bars up 10% today. Yeah, that's a thing of beauty right there. Um, when it's the opposite, when they're pink bars, you got to be aware. But when they're blue bars, that's on our side right here. Look at liquidity on the weekly. It's up, what, 6, 7 weeks in a row, breaking out of this late stage base. But man, that thing looks very good. Who else do I have here? I'm not going to go through all the drug names like I normally do. There's too many of them that are doing well. Arrowhead Pharma, another one that looks good. CAPR had a positive phase 3 data today, up only 371%. Wow. When I looked at it, it was only up like 250. Only close at 45% of the daily range, so right in the middle is up over $40. Sheesh. Probably some short sellers covering in that one. You can't short stuff, folks. It just doesn't. It's too hard. ANAB. I had people asking me about shorts just last week, I think, and the market's been rallying ever since. Up 7% today, ANAB. Another one that I like that broke out of the base here, 31% back in September. Yeah, it corrected a little bit in November during the 9% correction, went from 40 to 30. Even I can do the math on that one, 25%. And then now ripping higher, making new highs. What else we have? RVMD. This is on the page at mcstockcharts.com. Just ridiculous. This is like those quantum stocks. back in the summer. They just kept going up and up and up. No reason, no rhyme, no reason. Just going higher. And Amgen, this is one that I put on my ready list this week, kind of a bigger, you know, higher multiple market cap, 186 billion market cap. But you can see it's consolidating in a base here. This is one of those, it's a little slower name. It pays you, 3% dividend, but it's a great company, just kind of a slower name. And, it's not bad having some slower names in your portfolio. That's it for the drugs. All right. I got to admit, I was wrong. I did have Amgen on my ready list this week, but I also had some others like Boom Energy. It's not doing anything wrong. It just undercut the 50 and rallied back up, but it's not it had that bearish engulfing on Monday, had an inside day on Tuesday, and today, it's making these higher lows, but it just doesn't have any, power. Now, the data center build out, all this stuff, all the hardware that you hear about, the GPUs, blah, 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 it doesn't do anything without power. You need power. So this is like the picks and shovels for the AI revolution, but also you need power to heat your home. I mean, we need power, folks. And I think this is one of these names in this group that, you know, we need power. I don't know. We need power. That's all I can say. GEV, another stock that I like a lot, just flat on this session, trading tight. Another one. This is more, it's got the nuclear component. And this current government's big on nuclear. I don't know how GEV is going to, participate in that, but a decent move, off the lows here, consolidating in a base, trading tight near the moving averages. So I like that one. That's not a total swing and a miss by me. VRT, another one, undercut the 50 rally, just kind of a quiet day today. Not doing anything wrong, but not powering higher. So those are going to require patience. Those three that I just showed you. STOK, somebody's saying, I kind of like this, but I don't, there's other things better. I'm going like, what? Couldn't answer. I mean, I like, Liquidia and IMNM, but yeah, this is a nice stock that I put on this morning. It was up nearly 4% today. And as long as it's trading above the moving averages, I'm okay with Stoke Therapeutics. That looks pretty good to me. You got those, nice sales growth numbers. And what other one did I put on that I thought, AMD below the 50, it just can't get above there. No strength. So AMD and NVIDIA are just kind of struggling right now. What else did I put on? Oh, Reddit. Reddit's kind of like, it's got this overhead supply here again. Once people get, back to even, they're going to sell it. But I'd say 230.97 though would be, if it can clear that, which is, I could do that in a day. $10 is nothing for this stock, but it undercut the 50 and rallied, and you could see the short-term moving averages are trading above, the 50. I like this stock. It's having a hard time. You can see the very light volume the last couple of days. So hang in there with Reddit if you own it. Give it some time. Robinhood, the same thing here. Double bottom base pattern got above the 50. It does have this overhead supply as well. Anytime you got a double bottom and you're working on the right side of the base, you're going to have some of that. I know a lot of folks who are just sticklers, like it's got to get above that trigger point, 150.47, but yeah, I wouldn't wait that long. So what if there's overhead supply? Sure, let them sell. Maybe it'll struggle, pull back like it did yesterday. Have a couple pullbacks along the way, but I don't know. Robinhood looks good to me, and it's on the ready list, and I'm sticking with it. Darn it. Fix. This is one that I had a conversation with a friend who we owned it a long time ago. I sold it at 170 for like a 20% profit, and she's laughing at me because all you had to do was hold on to it, Marty. Why didn't you just hold on to it? Because I'm a swing trader, and I sold it like way back here. It was like 100. I traded like 140 or 170, something like that. And I sold it. I never bought it back. Why didn't you buy it back here? It was like 350, consolidating. You had the tariff tantrum, had a chance to buy it here, 270. I didn't. Now it's near 1,000. So I put this on the ready list, and this just looks like a consolidation pattern here. You had 4 weeks selling. Last week was an up week, 9%, not bad. Now just a little more consolidation here. So it needs more consolidation. You can clearly see that pattern near that box. Needs to break out of yeah, 10,020. Yeah, I like comfort systems. It'll get there. It's just going to take time. Probably I'm not patient enough. Anyway, that's enough of that. We all make mistakes. SYF, just gotta don't, it's okay to be wrong, just don't stay wrong, get out and make the adjustment quickly. This is SYF. I think I showed this one yesterday. These financials are cooking. This one breaking out above that 77.41. That one looks nice. And when I see stuff like Wells Fargo making new highs, and Citigroup making new highs, breaking out of a base there. That looks good. And then Morgan Stanley. I saw, was it Morgan Stanley? I think it was Morgan Stanley that said they were selling some of their, data center portfolio. So yeah, there's definitely some negative narratives out there around the AI play right now. But definitely breaking out here of that 171 Morgan Stanley. That one looks good too. Not as good as Citigroup, but a lot of these are looking pretty darn good. So the banks, got to give it to them, and also the shippers. I'm surprised that the shippers are really moving here. This is Himalaya or Hamaya breaking out of a base here, looking pretty darn snazzy there. I like that move. DSX. Do I own a shipper? No, I don't. This is near a pivot here, $1.98, but still making new highs. Just pointing out, folks, the shippers are strong. This is Sea Energy, ticker symbol ship. This is a cup with a handle. That's a nice 5-day handle and just breaking higher. That one looks good. If you're into the shipper, Starbulk is my favorite in this group, and this one just broke out today. Looked like it was going to really rip higher, then pull back. Yeah, nice move at the open, then sold off. Back to near that pivot area of 1999. Call it $20 here, and the lowest 2025. So it's got a little gap to fill there at 2014. Maybe it'll give you a chance to get in. If you're interested in owning a shipper, that's the one I like. DAC just breaking out of a base here. Yeah, and this group has popped into the top 20 group now. What else do we have? CMRE. I know I mentioned this one yesterday. Just moving higher, man. Mm, I hate it when I miss stuff like that, but I missed it. I wasn't even looking at shippers. But man, nice move here. Navios Maritime. Um, there you can see the little cup with handle pattern, and now last 3 weeks making new highs. So that one looks good. 52-week highs, not all-time highs. Anyway, the last thing I'm going to get to, no, I'm not. I'm lying again, is the Trump administration is rolling back or easing some of the mileage requirements in automobiles. So that's why Tesla was up today, right? Oops. No, Tesla's electric. Tesla was up. Tesla was up on the government supporting of the robotics programs. So Tesla's kind of not moving as an automobile because their sales are down pretty dramatically. But now it's going up on being a power and robotics play. So making the adjustment, as he needs to. Elon Musk. Now it's above the 50. So yeah, I like Tesla a lot more at that level than I did, just even yesterday. All right. So some of the names that are trading higher on that news, GM, man, this thing, broke out. I think that was an earnings breakout, a power earnings gap higher, 14%. And I think that one did okay through November. And so that one is one that's on my video. I mean, you gap like that, then you get supported by the 21. Even when the market corrected 9%, this thing just pulled back to moving average, now making new highs. It was an old saying when I first started. My dad used to say it, the market goes as GM goes. So, that was back in the day where, GM was building those muscle cars and it had the Corvette, but right, Chevy Corvette, yeah. I'm losing track here. Yeah, Chevy Corvette. So, and they had a lot of other, cars that obviously, but GM was the big dog. GM and IBM, General Electric, kind of the, three of the powerhouse stocks back in the day. But yeah, making new highs. So, and I just kind of reminisce. I kind of like seeing stuff like that. Also, Rivian made a big move recently, another electric. So it doesn't really impact the electric. I'm just being a wise guy. And also Carvana. Carvana chart looks good to me. It just popped a little bit today there. 401 is your trigger. Man, wait a minute here. 395. There's something wrong with this daily chart. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it pulled up to 400 today, 401. I thought I was seeing things there. Anyway, market surge kind of does that from time to time just to keep me honest. So yeah, this is a news-driven move here, and we'll see if there's continuation tomorrow. Oh, and also the boomers are still taking vacations. They're flying around. They're staying at hotels. This is the Marriott. I've stayed at the Marriott many, many times. Like it, and depends where you go. They got nice golf courses there in the Palm Springs, Phoenix area. Who else do we have? Oh, Viking, the river cruises. Definitely nice looking chart here. Made that big move last week, pulled back to the five, found support and bounced. So the boomers are taking river cruises and they're flying on Delta, right? Yes, breaking out of a nice cup-shaped pattern here and making a new high, 52-week high today. So yeah, the transportation, leisure, which reminds me of the leisure trade. This is gambling, obviously. The Wynn casinos. There's more than gambling. The entertainment shows. Yeah, a lot of things to do. But yeah, Wynn and Las Vegas Sands. These are looking pretty good too. I like Wynn is if you're looking to buy something, I definitely like Wynn more than Las Vegas Sands. But yeah, because it's already moved out. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except in honor of the great Steve Jobs. Homestead, hi, Steve Jobs. We have earnings this afternoon, and I didn't get to look at any of the earnings reports, but I'm just going and looking here at some of the stuff that I've written down. Salesforce up nearly 4%. That's good. It's a Dow component, and I didn't show the Dow. I should show the Dow here because we had stuff like I saw Walmart. I mentioned the retailers. I should have showed Walmart. Look at this breakout trending higher. That's a thing of beauty. And I'm sorry, folks. I'm all over the place. The Dow Jones, so yeah, popping higher. I have a friend, in India, and he likes to buy the Dow Jones Industrial Average. He says, "When do you go? When's go time?" And I told him, "Well, this date right here is go time." And it's been doing very well for him. To undercut the 50 and rallied. Dow Jones looks good. All right. So Walmart is what I was getting at. No, I wasn't. I was getting at the Dow Jones because of Salesforce moving. Now, Snowflake is down 6%, $17. Back to that 250 level here. So it's probably going to pull back to its 50 tomorrow, which today was right at 250. So we'll be watching for Snowflake tomorrow. I don't know what the report looked like. I've got some homework to do tonight, and I'll have that in the morning. I do know that AI had 75 million revenue expected, and they came in at 75 million. It's a 2 billion market cap. They're doing what? 300 million in sales. So yeah, this is a pretty expensive stock, even though it's had a massive sell-off. Anyway, enough of that. Path. I think Path had a good report. Yeah, and it's up 9% after hours. Good. That bodes well for tomorrow for Path. And then GWRE reported tonight, and it's up more than 4% after hours. Very nice. And HQY Health Equity, okay, up 3%. That looks like a nice little pattern here, a little sell off into the print. You always like to see that, all the scaredy cats getting out. And then Five Below, the retail names, like I said, retail's hit and miss. Five Below up slightly. And then PVH, I think it was down only 2%, not bad. Still consolidating in a base here. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. You can join us in the chat during the session. I love a little banter there and sharing ideas with one another. Anyway, have a great evening. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up.